Do you want more success, more growth, more results? Then it's time for the Boundless Success Accelerator from the Modern Observer Group. This isn't your average coaching program. It's where top performers come to dominate. Weekly group sessions, on-demand coaching, a community that's got your back, and a power-packed library of tools to supercharge your business and career. No more excuses, no more waiting. Get in, level up, and start building the life you've been dreaming about. Visit us at modernobserver.com/boundless success to join today. Let's get you to the next level.
We're here because the news is being distorted. We're here because people are being inundated with misinformation on social media. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
Anti-American alliances, a major Starlink expansion, positive economic news, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. Vladimir Putin, Kim Jong-un, Narendra Modi, and Xi Jinping held a security summit to challenge American dominance. Over the weekend, Chinese President Xi Jinping invited more than 20 foreign leaders, including India's and Russia's, to a regional security forum in a flex of economic cooperation to counter the U.S.-led Western system. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi talked up his country's energy relationship with Russia, which had prompted the U.S. to slap punishing 50% tariffs on India. For decades, the U.S. wooed India as an ally to counter Chinese influence in Asia. But after the surprise tariff hit, India has been increasingly embracing Beijing. The Israel Defense Forces said on Saturday that it had killed the Houthi prime minister and several other senior officials in a strike in Yemen. Houthi Prime Minister Ahmed al-Rahawa, along with additional senior officials of the Houthi terrorist regime, were eliminated during an IDF strike in Sana'a, Yemen, the IDF said in a social media post. The IDF said it had targeted a Houthi site where officials responsible for the use of force, the military buildup of the Houthi terror regime, and the advancement of terror actions against Israel. The IDF will continue to target all threats against Israeli civilians. The airstrike was conducted by the Israeli Air Force Thursday using intelligence gathered by the IDF. The Israeli military Friday declared Gaza City a dangerous combat zone and said it is suspending daily pauses in operations in the city that were aimed at allowing increased delivery of humanitarian aid to residents. The move comes as Israel prepares for what it has said would be increased military activity against Hamas militants in the city. The White House plans to cancel nearly $5 billion in congressionally approved foreign aid in a rare pocket rescission, a legally complex maneuver that hasn't been used in 48 years. The federal rescissions process allows the president to make a request to Congress to cancel already approved funding within 45 days. Congress did this for the administration last month to rescind funding for public broadcasting. However, a pocket rescission skirts that 45-day window and avoids giving Congress a say by coming so close to the end of a fiscal year that lawmakers don't have time to weigh in. The fiscal year ends on September 30th. Democrats strongly criticized the move, saying it could endanger ongoing budget negotiations aimed at avoiding a government shutdown. The White House said the move was legal and expected the issue to end up in court. Texas Governor Greg Abbott signed into law a new House map on Friday that's expected to give Republicans 5 additional pickup opportunities ahead of the 2026 midterms, delivering the GOP a major win while opponents challenge it in court. This is Governor Greg Abbott. I'm about to sign the law that creates the one big beautiful map that ensures fairer representation in the United States Congress for Texas, Abbott said in a video posted on social media, thanking several lawmakers and politicians for their work on the map. Texas is now more red in the United States Congress, he added after signing the map. The state Senate passed the new congressional lines in the early morning hours over the weekend as Democrats sought to delay its inevitable passage. Texas State Senator Carol Alvarado, a Democrat, planned to hold an hours-long filibuster when the upper chamber convened just after midnight last Saturday, though Republicans quickly nixed the effort. The new House map delivers a victory for Republicans, offering them a handful of seats they could gain ahead of 2026, allowing them to grow their delegation to up to 30 members instead of the current 25 serving in the House now, as the president's party braces for the traditional headwinds associated with midterm environments. Governor Gavin Newsom announced on Thursday his plan to deploy California Highway Patrol crime suppression teams across the Golden State to prevent crime and promote public safety. The officers will partner with local law enforcement officers in major cities including Los Angeles, Sacramento, San Diego, Inland Empire, Central Valley, and the San Francisco Bay Area, according to Newsom's office. The White House stated, after Newsom spent weeks criticizing the president's highly successful efforts to crack down on crime, he's reverted to his tried-and-true strategy, embracing and copying the Trump agenda. SpaceX launched another batch of Starlink V2 mini satellites into orbit from Florida on Sunday morning in its latest mission. The 28 broadband internet satellites were launched into orbit aboard SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station at 7:49 a.m. Eastern Time. The launch was the 23rd flight for the first stage booster, according to a mission description on SpaceX's website. Elon Musk's private spaceflight company said that after the stage separation, the first stage will land on the Just Read the Instructions drone ship, which will be stationed in the Atlantic Ocean. A federal appeals court has ruled that most of President Trump's sweeping global tariffs are unlawful, potentially dealing a significant blow to the president's effort to reshape the country's trade policy. Upholding a lower court's decision, the appeals court found that many of Trump's tariffs on foreign goods exceeded his power under federal economic emergency laws. Trump called tariffs the best tool to help workers and support American companies. The president said, if allowed to stand, this decision would literally destroy the United States of America. The court's ruling will not take effect until October, allowing tariffs to remain in place until the Trump administration has a chance to ask the Supreme Court to take up the case. U.S. GDP growth got revised upwards. The U.S. economy grew at a 3.3% annual rate in the second quarter, stronger than both the government's initial 3.0% estimate and Wall Street's 3.1% forecast, thanks to resilient consumer spending and a sharp drop in imports. Consumer spending rose 1.6%, while a key measure of domestic demand, final sales to private domestic purchasers, climbed to 1.9%. On the import side, economists say some of the second quarter growth was driven by companies accelerating their imports earlier in the year to beat tariffs, lowering costs this quarter. The third quarter is tracking near 2.2% so far. The Federal Reserve's preferred inflation gauge came in cooler than expected in July, another boost of confidence for traders betting on an interest rate cut in September. The personal consumption expenditures price index stayed flat at 2.6% on a yearly basis after 2 straight months of increases, according to the Commerce Department's Bureau of Economic Analysis. Core PCE, which excludes volatile food and energy prices, ticked up 0.3% from the month before, as expected. It rose 2.9% on a yearly basis, slightly above expectations of a 2.8% rise. Traders currently see an 85% chance the Fed slashes interest rates in September, according to 30-day Fed funds futures prices. The S&P 500 hit another record high, with the benchmark stock index trading at 3.23 times sales. U.S. stocks are now pricier than they were in the dot-com era. The index is also the most concentrated that it has ever been, with the 10 largest companies adding up to 39.5% of the S&P 500's total value at the end of July. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of the Raw Naked Truth Daily News Brief, as well as our sister podcast, Carnivore Radio, with news analysis and commentary, and the rest of the Xvadio Podcast Network at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcast app, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.